Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the Avengers Issue 3, 2023. And I really enjoyed this one, and I really like the cover here. It just looks completely nuts. City's done, destroyed, and we've got the City Slayers. So, this does fit with what's going on. We are introduced to the City Slayers, and how they kind of operate. And I like seeing that. Also, with the juxtaposition of how the Avengers kind of handle what's kind of going on. So, we pop off and we are in Earth orbit. And we see, a new world filled with such cities. And this is the Impossible City, layer of the Ashen Combine. Accomplished interdimensional city slayers. Which, that's fucking awesome. And we see, let us find interesting ways to kill them as we see them in the beginning. And then we have somebody narrating and kind of telling us about each one while they're doing it. So it's a nice combination of showing and telling. It's sometimes, as an art form, you do have to get into kind of a spiel where you do have to explain certain kind of things, so it gets kind of exposition dumpy. That doesn't really happen here. We fit to the first city, Vatican City, and we're told that Idol Alabaster is the first to choose. She's the most eager of the Combine. She knows well what she desires. She knows what gives her power and how to find it. Worship. It's like, goddamn. And I love the art. That's just freaky looking. It's like, damn. We switch over to the next one in Toronto, Canada. The City Smith is next. He chooses his cities not for what they are, rather he is an artist. He sees the brick, the mortar, the stone, and glass, and steel, and pipe, and above all the people as his materials. The City Smith chooses his prey for what they can be, what he can make of them. And, it's just nuts seeing everything kind of going on, and I love the panel kind of layout. They change it up with what kind of suits best of the kind of flow of what's going on. And we see him kind of mucking about with this kind of cube kind of thing, kind of reminiscent of kind of like a Hellraiser kind of concept, as he's combining everything into the city into his artwork, and we see his just evil looking smile. So we switch over to Manila in the Philippines, as Lord Ennui is a connoisseur. He seeks out life, cities that never sleep, the greatest density of living, thinking minds, the hustle and bustle of urban life, how he hates it when he can be bothered to hate it all. And so he brings the gift of respite, of stillness, of peace, as we see his crazy looking ass and how everything is going still. So it's interesting getting into the minds of these villains. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know these villains, and I can't wait to see how this kind of works out. Now we're in Sydney, Australia, and the dead is as simple as they are inscrutable. They're drawn to the burial grounds of civilizations in whatever shape they take. Where Lord Ennui seeks out life to quiet, the dead stirs up the already quiet. Interesting seeing how they're part of the same kind of group, but they have different kind of ways of achieving things. Ennui going for things that are bustling and making them quiet, and the dead going for quiet things and making them get the fuck up. He stirs up the already quiet, gives them life, gives them a voice, and gives them the chance to revenge themselves on those who have forgotten them. And that just looks nutty, man. I also like the different kind of uses of colors for each one. Gold for Idol Alabaster, the City Smith with more kind of red and golden kind of hues of a different kind of sort. Lord Ennui with white and red and green and black here for the dead. Let's see. Helsinki, Finland. Alone among the Ashen Combine, Meridian Diadem is indiscriminate. She's not an artist like the City Smith. She has no philosophy, esoteric as it might be, like the dead or Lord Ennui. She does not seek out a specific sustenance like Idol Alabaster. No. Meridian Diadem desires only to consume thinking, intelligent beings to imprison. And that, granted, the other ones are nutty as hell, but it's interesting to see the people getting taken down, and then that she's got this dude that, these other kind of ones, and this kind of horn guy grabbing someone. It's she imprisons and does everything in her power to consume this kind of life. It's interesting with their different kind of objectives. So now we're in New York City, United States, Carol pretty much calling up the Avengers. Saddle up, Avengers, the world's in peril. Talking about Manila, Helsinki, Toronto, Sydney, and the Vatican, telling them to pick one. But T'Challa's like, wait, we know nothing about what we're facing. And then Sam pretty much points out that people are dying. And T'Challa's like, I'm aware of that. But more will die, including ourselves, if we do not win. I'm not afraid of dying. The only thing I am afraid of is losing. And I kind of love that. Like, T'Challa, I get that. And that completely makes sense. But you got to work on how you kind of like present it, but I do like the kind of like push and pull here where it's like we need more information, even as scant as it could be. Carol's like, I thought I was leading the team, and T'Challa's like, you are, and you brought me onto this team despite the opprobrium surrounding me because you wanted my counsel, so please accept my counsel and lead us. And see, that's always the great kind of look on an advisor. It's like, all right, you're the leader. You make the decision. I'm just offering the counsel. If you accept it, cool. If you don't, fine. And then I love that we get a little pause where she does deliberate. And then she's like, 5 minutes and we're out. And it's like, yes, I can understand it. Somebody's like, 5 minutes, people are going to die. It's like, if we don't understand what we're going into, more will die. And us. So she gets Tony to use the satellites to get raw data, Vision to process the information because of how fast he could do that. And I'm like, that's really smart on Carol's part. And then an immediate threat eval. We got Thor and Wanda to put everyone where they need to be once we're ready to go. We've got 5 bogeys plus their orbital clubhouse. Everyone's going in the field. It's like, goddamn. There you go, Carol. Fucking great there. And then Tony, we switch over and we see Tony pretty much giving a lowdown. Nothing in Avengers files, nothing from S.H.I.E.L.D., Sword, Armor, Wand, or any of the acronym gangs to any of these jokers. Total unsubs. Vision, you've got all the raw data I have access to, video, news feeds, anything in the internet. Thank you, Tony. Threat evaluation. Manila, massive entropic attack. Helsinki, an army of enemy combatants who appear to be taking prisoners. Toronto, lack for a better term, metrokinetic attack. Vatican City, high-level psi event. Sydney, ghosts. I love that. Like, Vision is, like, giving the, like, what we need. Low Earth orbit, their base of operations. T'Challa, little information all told, but even a small blade can kill. And now we are armed. Call to play. I love that. And it's like, is this kind of what you wanted? It's like, yep, we need to release something. And then Carol's like, all right, I've got your targets. Hit them hard. Put them down fast. And above all, save lives. Avengers, assemble. And it's like, yeah, all right, we've got our threat. And I like seeing these dynamics. So we're in Vatican City, and Idol Alabaster's like, yes, worship the living Godhead, worship me. It's like, that's really good artwork because you can just tell the emotion of like, I'm loving this, and how freaky this like flying head angel looking demon fucking thing. And then I love this, ho, is this a god I see before me? For I know the ways of gods. Worship is courted with blessings or threats, not stolen with psychic tricks, as we see lightning in the panel. Give me your worship, little creature, little supplicant. And I'm like, oh, goddamn. I always love it when somebody gets kind of arrogant that way on that kind of stuff. So is it to be blessings, creature, or threats? In either case, I say thee nay. And I just fucking love that line for Thor and how he looks. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to work. Then we get to Toronto as we see the City Smith. Let me see. Make sure I got that right. Yes, the City Smith being like such texture, shape, and fabric of a city. The warp and weft of life and love and laughter and terror for the finishing touch. Excellent, excellent. A fine beginning for the greater whole. This city is wonderful material. As we see him shaping and just changing the whole structure of everything. As we see people stuck in terror. And then, of course, we see Tony pop up. I don't know, pal. Alien super terrorism as an art form. It's a little, what do they say? Pedestrian? A critic? Show yourself. It's like, oh, this is interesting. And interesting to be reviewing it. He's like, that's the thing about Planet Earth, friend. And I should know, everyone's a critic. And I just love showing Tony off. That's a great look. I mean, I love how they're showing off the stealth suit. Which is interesting because we've only gotten the stealth suit a little bit in Invincible Iron Man. But I'm getting more of it here. And I'm just like, I love the red and gold. That's like my bread and butter, especially the Bleeding Edge one. Like Extremis and Bleeding Edge are like my favorite ones, but this is good. That's really good. And I just love it showing them off. And granted, we pretty much get the setups here. We get to Sydney. There's fear here. there always is with the unquiet dead. But more than that, there's pain. As we see a fucking, like, supernatural tornado shit going on. It's like, goddamn. We see skeletons and every people running for cover. I'm no stranger to pain, no stranger to ghosts, and nor are you, as I can see. You've let both master you, but I am the Scarlet Witch, and I have mastered my pain, my ghost, and much worse besides. And I will not allow you to harm these people. And that's fucking awesome. Especially when you kind of go through Scarlet Witch's different kind of histories, and you're like trying to read through different stuff. This is really cool, where she's just up and like, I'm going to stop you from doing this shit. And she just looks fucking great. I just love her in that kind of pose, getting ready with the red and the glowing oars and stuff. It's like, alright. Helsinki. Criminals, children. All of them criminals. Criminals in need of correction. So, the Meridian Diadem lady is kind of... yeah, Meridian Diadem. She's kind of like... got this kind of punishment thing going on. I don't know, like, she's like, yes, they needed correction. It's like, what the hell? Correction? For what crime? It's like, ooh, Vision's here. Any number. Criminality is ingrained into the organic. They kill, they steal, they lie, and if they have not, then they will. It's like, damn. It's interesting that she's artificial and an artificial intelligence and has that kind of view. I like exploring that kind of view and everything, and I love that Vision's the one tasked with taking her on. I correct them, and the very best of them become my children. Children, I am also a synthetic, and I'm also a parent, and you offend me to the core of my very being. I'm like, fuck yeah, Vision, you tell her and you show her, man. And of course we see a dude, like, hit the focus of him just saying that and be like, fuck you, and then we got this dude down in this corner just going, it's like, God, I love the art. We're in Manila now, where Lord Ennui is sign. Alone I reign in a kingdom of sleep. But for what? Perhaps when my sleepers begin to die. Perhaps then I will feel something. So Ennui is trying to get some kind of feeling. I never do, but perhaps this time will be different. And after all, you're here this time. It's like, and we see that Carol is tasking herself with taking him on. I'll give you that. This time will be different, because this time you met the Avengers. And I just kind of love how she's like, got her eyes glowing. It's like, yeah, I'm going for this. And then we get to the last bit, and we get the understanding of who has been narrating this. Low Earth orbit. The Ashen Combine pursue their obsessions. The warriors of this world rise to do battle with them. And it's a dance I've seen over and over again. I had another name once, one I can't remember. They took it from me. So that already introduces an interesting paradigm thing. Granted, the Impossible City is probably something that this group is cobbled together to go and hunt other cities. So we'll have to see who that is if that gets teased out at some points. That since they took it from the Impossible City, we'll see what that means and if we can get that kind of back and what that'll be. Now I am called the Impossible City, and now for the first time in a very long time, I have visitors. How intriguing, as we see that T'Challa and Sam are the ones tasked with taking on the Impossible City, which makes sense. I mean, we already know that the other ones are pretty kind of high tiers, so they kind of put who they think would be best to handle them. And I do think that T'Challa and Sam would be the best kind of bits, even though as partnerships go, I probably wouldn't put them together as a partnership kind of thing because of their distrust and everything. Though granted, I wouldn't do it as a writer because of the friction you could get from that. But T'Challa's got the ability with the technology and everything, and Sam just has the grit and determination to fight through and help and do what he needs to. Not saying that he's not smart, but T'Challa's got the ability to try and interface with all different kinds of things, and Sam is there for his combat prowess and his understanding and his tactical ways of doing kind of things. So I also really like T'Challa's kind of like outfit now. It's just fucking great. I love that kind of shoulder pad and everything. So it'll be interesting to see where this kind of goes. This is very much the kind of setup issue. We had the whole setup of the Tribulation events. We've now got the beginning of one, and we get introduced to our new cadre of villains of the Ashen Combine, and they intrigue me. I really want to see what goes on with them, how they fight the Avengers, how this is going to shake out, and what's going to go on. And it's cool that we get a letter page for the Avengers, and then we get a little teaser for the next issue with a really good looking cover. The battle ignites as the Avengers race to combat the Ashen Combine. But with Lord Ennui, the City Smith, Idol Alabaster, the Dead, and Meridian Diadem scattered across the planet, have the Avengers spread themselves too thin? United the Avengers stand, but divided? So that is pretty interesting, because normally, if you're fighting together, you can team up and everything. T'Challa and Sam are the only ones that have that advantage here, because if any of the other ones get in trouble, they're going to have to try and figure it out on their own. But I really enjoyed this issue. I love the writing. All of the Avengers, like, whenever you're doing an Avengers book, it's very... Normally, you kind of have to watch out, because depending upon who the writer is, you don't know if they're going to hit the characters in the way that you like, or in the way that is lining up with how they're done in their solo books. That is not a problem here. And now granted, I've not read Carol's books, but I love how Carol is done here. I haven't read T'Challa's books, but I love how T'Challa is done here. Sam is Sam. Tony is Tony. Thor is Thor. I haven't read Scarlet Witch and Vision, but they jive with what I know of them lore-wise and everything, and I just love how the writing team with the creative team of the art are able to get these characters, and then even get the new kind of characters in the Ashen Combine. I'm like, it's always nutty whenever you're trying to introduce new villains, because you've got a great run of like other villains that the Avengers have fought. I mean, you could do Loki, you could do Ultron, you could do Kang, you can do many hosts of them, Fing Fang Foom, and a lot. It's a lot harder to come up with a good concept and execute on this. So this has a good setup, and hopefully it works out, and we're able to get a really good character moments and developments and action and everything going on with the Ashen Combine. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.